I learned very early how quiet grief sounds inside a house that's already celebrating. The day my husband died. The sky looked almost rude in how blue it was. The hospital hallways smelled like disinfectant and burnt coffee. And the doctor kept saying words like sudden and nothing we could do, as if speed made it easier. I remember nodding, signing papers with a pen that didn't belong to me, and thinking only one thing over and over: how do I tell our daughter that her father isn't coming home? Emma was 7. She believed in routines like they were laws of the universe. Dad reads the bedtime story. Dad packs the apple slices just right. Dad hums when he drives. I sat on the edge of her bed that night, my voice shaking so hard it barely worked, and when I finally said the words, she didn't cry. She just asked, very calmly, "So who's going to come to my school play?" That was the moment my grief stopped being just mine. 3 days later, my phone rang. It was my mother. Her voice was bright, almost cheerful, the way it always got when she had already decided what was reasonable. "Honey," she said, "I just wanted to make sure you're coming on Saturday." "Coming where?" I asked, my throat raw. "Your sister's birthday," she said, like it was obvious. "We're doing the big dinner. She already booked the place." I closed my eyes. Saturday was the day we were burying my husband. "I can't," I said. "It's the funeral." There was a pause. Not the shocked kind, the calculating kind. "Well," she replied, "can't they move it? Or maybe you could come after. Your sister's turning 30. It's a milestone." Something cold settled in my chest then. Not surprise. Not anger. Recognition. This was how it had always been. My sister Lily had been chosen in 1,000 tiny ways that were never spoken out loud. Her piano lessons paid for without question. Her mistakes explained away. Her emotions treated like emergencies. I was the strong one. The practical one. The one who would understand. So when my parents chose my sister's birthday dinner over my husband's funeral, they didn't see it as cruelty. They saw it as consistency. I didn't argue, I didn't cry on the phone. I just said, "Okay," and hung up. At the funeral, only a few friends from work came. One of my husband's cousins flew in last minute. My parents sent flowers with a card that said, "Thinking of you." Lily sent a text with a heart emoji and a picture of a cake. I stood by the grave holding Emma's hand, and I felt something shift. Not breaking, hardening. Grief, I learned, can be loud, but it can also be strategic. The weeks after blurred together. I went back to work earlier than I should have because bills don't pause for mourning. I learned how to make dinner while helping with homework and answering emails. At night, after Emma fell asleep clutching one of her dad's old shirts, I opened my laptop and worked on an idea I'd been carrying quietly for years. I'd always been good with numbers, better than Lily actually, but she had gone into marketing, flashy, visible. I had gone into operations, invisible, reliable. I started consulting on the side, just small contracts at first. Streamlining systems, fixing inefficiencies. Companies didn't even know they had. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't post about it. I didn't celebrate milestones. Silence became my shield. Every few months, my mother would call, usually to complain about Lily's stress or to ask if I could help out financially because Lily was between opportunities again. I helped when it made sense. I said no when it didn't. I kept records of everything. Emma grew. She stopped asking when Dad was coming back, but sometimes I'd catch her staring at families in the park, her face unreadable. On her 9th birthday, my parents promised they'd come. They canceled the morning of because Lily had a last-minute event she couldn't do without them. I told Emma they were sick. She nodded, too old now to be fooled, but too kind to say anything. The real turning point came 5 years later. By then, my consulting work had turned into a firm, not a flashy one, a profitable one. We worked with hospitals, logistics companies, municipalities, the kind of clients who care about results, not appearances. My parents still saw me as struggling. Lily, on the other hand, had just gotten engaged. They threw her an engagement party that looked like a magazine spread. During the toast, my father joked about how Lily had always been their star. Emma was 12. She sat beside me, quiet, absorbing more than anyone realized. After the party, my mother pulled me aside. "We're thinking," she said, lowering her voice, "about the future, about inheritance. You're so capable, sweetheart. You don't really need much. Lily's life is more Expensive. Double quotes. I smiled. A small, polite smile. Do what you think is fair, I said. Fair is a fascinating word. It means whatever benefits the speaker. I went home and finalized paperwork I had been putting off. Trusts, accounts, safeguards. Not out of spite. Out of clarity. A year later, my father had a minor stroke. Nothing devastating, but enough to shake them. They asked Lily to move closer. She didn't. She had plans. A life. I rearranged my schedule and showed up. Took them to appointments. Handled insurance calls. Fixed their broken systems the same way I fixed companies still, at every family gathering. Lily's needs came first. Then came the day that changed everything. It was Lily's birthday again. A big one. My parents had planned a weekend trip, booked months in advance. That same week, Emma came home from school, pale and shaking. She handed me a note from the nurse and said she felt dizzy. The tests came back fast. A rare autoimmune condition. Manageable, the doctor said, but serious. The kind that changes routines. The kind that makes a child suddenly very aware of her own body. I called my parents from the hospital hallway. My voice was calm. Too calm. She's scared, I said. I could really use you here. There was that familiar pause. Well, my mother said slowly, we're already packed, and Lily would be so disappointed. Can you keep us updated? I looked at Emma through the glass, sitting small and brave on the bed. Of course, I said. They left for the trip. That night, as I sat beside Emma's bed, she reached for my hand. Mom, she said softly, why do they always choose Aunt Lily? I opened my mouth, ready to lie, ready to protect. Then she said one more sentence. It's okay. We'll choose ourselves. Double quotes. Something in me cracked open, not pain, but resolve. Recovery took months. I slept in a chair beside Emma's bed more nights than I can count. I worked remotely. I declined family invitations without explanations. I stopped initiating calls. My parents noticed, eventually. Confusion turned into irritation. Lily accused me of being dramatic. I said nothing. Then my firm landed a contract that changed everything. A federal partnership. Overnight, our valuation tripled. I didn't announce it. I didn't celebrate publicly. The reveal came accidentally. Or so it seemed. My parents needed help refinancing their home. They asked me to co-sign. I suggested a different approach and sent them to my financial advisor. During the meeting, numbers were mentioned, assets, holdings. The room went very quiet. My father stared at me like he was seeing a stranger. Why didn't you tell us? He asked. I shrugged. You never asked. Lily laughed it off at first. Then she started calling, asking for advice, for introductions, for support. I stayed polite, distant. Months later, my parents called a family meeting. They wanted to reset. Apologies were hinted at, never spoken. They talked about legacy, about fairness. Emma sat beside me, legs crossed, listening. My mother finally said, we didn't realize how much we hurt you. I looked at them, really looked. I know, I said. That's why I stopped explaining. Double quotes. They asked what they could do. Before I could answer, Emma spoke. You don't have to choose us now, she said, her voice steady. We already chose ourselves. Double quotes. My parents went pale. Lily started crying. The room felt like it was tilting. We left shortly after. The aftermath was messy, accusations, guilt-laced messages, offers that came too late. I didn't cut them off completely. I just stopped shrinking to fit their expectations. Today, Emma is thriving. Her condition is managed. She's confident in a way I wasn't at her age. She knows her worth isn't up for negotiation. As for me, I don't feel triumphant. Revenge wasn't loud. It didn't involve confrontation or punishment. It was quiet, sustainable, built on choosing myself every day until others had no choice but to see it. Sometimes my mother calls and asks if we can all try again. I tell her we already are, just not on the terms she expected. If you've ever been the one who understood too much, gave too often, or was told to wait your turn while your pain was minimized, know this: you don't need permission to step into your own life. Sometimes the most powerful revenge is living so fully, so honestly that the people who overlooked you are left shaking, not because you hurt them, but because they finally see what they lost. And if this story feels uncomfortably familiar, stay. You're not alone here.